Ninja fans, and welcome to another My Little Pony video. After revamping my Princess Cadence's backstory, which you should totally check out, I have decided to do the same for my Queen Chrysalis one. The original was my own interpretation of her life, but today I wanted to share the facts. I've gotten my information from the IDW Friendship No. 5 comic, and acquired some additional facts about her from another site. I will, as always, link my sources in the description and will be open to any of your suggestions as well. Just remember that this is a comic and could be changed in the future, but it was the closest real information I could get on her life. So now that you know the basics, let's start the story. Once, a long time ago, there was a mountainside forest of pine trees, with acorns found on the branches. A curious squirrel approached a gray-looking acorn, but quickly turned it away from its atrocious odor. The acorn was tossed down into an abandoned swamp that had mosquitoes and pony bones surrounding the area. Once the acorn dropped into the water, it grew a mysterious tree. It had plants that reached from it and ate the bugs, and its roots wrapped around the fossils. One day, Star Swirl the Bearded was traveling by and came across the tree. He nailed a warning sign labeling it as dangerous magic. After he left, this caused a crack in the trunk, and the changelings began to pour out. One, however, was the changelings' leader herself, Queen Chrysalis. The story is quite random and feels slightly out of place. I'm sure I'm not the only one who hoped for a much more tragic and interesting backstory for such a villain, but sadly, this is all I found. The comic goes on to mention two other battles that she had which impacted her role. The first was in Timbuktu. It was a kingdom on the clouds filled with Pegasi that had sparkling eyes. Their leader was King Orion, and he felt life couldn't be better. Suddenly, the changelings began attacking the kingdom and began consuming the love and happiness of his subjects. Queen Chrysalis went straight to work and attacked one of the guards. She took his form and announced a retreat of the Pegasus soldiers. Once back at the castle, she attacked the king, took his crown, and morphed it into the one she wears today. In despair and humiliation, the weakened king fled the kingdom and flew so high in the sky that he became Starlight. After his defeat, Chrysalis gave herself the title of Queen. As you may have noticed in these scenes, Chrysalis doesn't have her gnarled horn or holes in her limbs, and there's a reason for this as well. Later in her life, she posed as the fiancé of an emperor named Immortality to gain power and ardor, as she calls it. Her and the changelings arrived in secret as a Trojan horse of sorts and took the emperor by surprise. Thankfully, the subjects were suspicious of the gift and decided to summon Celestia just in case. As the changelings began to attack, Princess Celestia arrived and banished the hive for hundreds of years. The impact of this, however, caused the destruction of Chrysalis's once smooth complexion and gave her the menacing appearance she has today. After revealing her backstory, I'm going to mention the unique abilities and secrets that the TV show hasn't covered. As we all know, changelings can shapeshift, but on top of this, Chrysalis can manipulate her body in ways that make her appear to have seemingly no bones, and she can turn her head a full 360 degrees around. This was labeled as biological manipulation. She also has mind control powers as shown on Shining Armor in the Bride's Ponies, and pyrokinesis, as she can summon magical fire of a green hue. And when it comes to her general magic, it is at an extremely high level. As we saw in the series, she could hold her own against the three princesses, and when T-Rex absorbed her magic in his second form, he was immediately turned to his third one, which usually takes many ponies to acquire. Other than general abilities, she seems to have enhanced durability and possible immortality. In the show and comics, the changelings have been blasted miles away and have been left unscathed, whereas a normal pony would have not survived this. Additionally, Queen Chrysalis has no injury when her throne was destroyed, even though there should have been evidence of it. It is thought the amount of love increasing their strength and power could be the reason for this. As for immortality, it is said in the comics she has lived for hundreds and maybe even thousands of years with no outward sign of aging, which makes her one of the oldest characters in the series. She is the only villain to serve in 3 two-part episodes, has been in the most seasons, which is 5, and is the second most evil villain in the show under King Sombra. Sombra is considered pure evil and worse than Chrysalis, as she did show care for the other members in the Legion of Doom and returned Spike to Twilight after threatening to remove his wings. But even with this, she was depicted way crueler in the comics and is the longest-running unreformed villain in the series. Overall, Queen Chrysalis has proven to be a very interesting piece of the My Little Pony universe and can definitely hold her own against almost any foe. Even if she is made of stone now, she remains my favorite villain and one of my favorite types of characters in the series, hence my OC being a changeling. I hope you guys have learned something new today and will be encouraged to do some research of your own. That's it for this video. I hope you have an enriching rest of your day. Ninja, go!